At first, like, the whole idea was to make a short film where people just hang out at the pool while it gets painted. And then eventually Swamp Dogg sort of found, opened up. He literally reached under his bed and pulled out a big crate full of photos. And suddenly we had this archival material that changed the entirety of the scope of the project. And we could, imagine doing bigger, longer, weirder things.
This is such a unique and amazing film. Do you want to just start off by talking about how you came to meet Swamp Dogg and decide to make a film about him?
Sure. Are these on? Okay. Ryan Olson, who's not here, another director on the project, is a music producer and was making music with Swamp Dogg. And so David McMurry and I went out to Swamp Dogg's house to make a music video for the song I'll Pretend in 2017. So it came through musical collaboration between a group of people, and we got to the house and just, found a magical situation that we didn't want to leave, basically. And we kind of thought of the title right away, because the first shot you see in the movie is him sitting at the edge of the pool, and I'm pretty sure that's the first shot we shot. And he's asking us, like, while he's looking down in the pool, like, you guys know anyone who paints pools? And, we knew a painter who is the painter in the film. So it started there. We thought of the title first.
How long did it actually take the guy to do the bottom of the pool?
Probably a week, but we had to do it twice. In 2018, we started shooting for real, and I think it took a week, right? Maybe 5 days.
Yeah, it was at least.
It's hardcore to paint a pool, and we painted it black, and so you're like under, the sun's beating down.
That's a big.
He's in the valley, so it's super hot.
It's a big paint job. I'm amazed somebody could do that in a week.
Yeah, but then we painted it the first time in 2018, and someone convinced us that we needed to put like a sealer on the paint, and we did that, and then it just disappeared. It like turned white and went away. So took us like another 3 years to get the money to do it a second time, which was fine, because then we got to keep making the documentary.
From the time that you, so talk about these three guys as film subjects. Are they, one of them has passed, but at the time that he was alive, are they willing participants?
Yeah.
Or were they kind of like quirky, weird people with weird schedules, and it was hard to get them to shoot?
It was super easy to get them to shoot, because they just hang out at the house all the time. They like have this, amazing world that they've constructed, and they're not up to anything. We could hit them up with a reason to, go out there for making more music or whatever, just to check in, and they're like, yeah, of course, we're here, come through. They're super open.
And everybody that comes by that's talking to them, is that a regular thing for people to just stop by and talk? That's just
every time we were out there, there'd be other people there.
And Mike Judge and all those people are just kind of like fans.
Yeah, they're friends. They're like Mike Judge had been there a bunch. Swamp was on Tales from the Tour Bus, Mike Judge's show. So Johnny Knoxville was a fan. Tom Kenny is a friend and a fan. I don't know. Everyone who's in the movie is a friend or a friend of a friend. And every time we thought about getting some other celebrity or something, it just didn't. It wouldn't have been right. It would have been forced. And these people all know each other and can talk about whatever,
So one of the things I love about this movie so much is it's got, traditional documentary structure with interviews and archival, and you're basic like following around while someone's doing their life, living their life. But then you also have the interludes, like Moog starts telling the story about visiting Evel Knievel's grave, which is one of my favorite. And that's animated. Can you talk about how do you come up with ideas for things like this?
Moogstar came up with that idea. Like, in that interview, he says, it was like I was in Scooby-Doo, and then that just clicks. Like, okay, Moogstar we'll figure out how to animate his stuff like Scooby-Doo. And a friend of mine lives 2 blocks from me and knows how to do, like, traditional animation, so he was hired. I don't know, that's how this movie it's kind of organic and naturally occurring, or, serendipitous connections that we can make as we're listening to these guys tell a story. We're like, how do we visualize that? And at first, like, the whole idea was to make a short film where people just hang out at the pool while it gets painted. And then eventually Swamp Dogg sort of opened up. He literally reached under his bed and pulled out a big crate full of photos. And suddenly we had this archival material that changed the entirety of the scope of the project. And we could, imagine doing bigger, longer, weirder things. But yeah, so like Moogstar's animations thing, I think that took 1.5 years just to do those 2 scenes because they're like hand painted.
Wow, that's a lot. Yeah.
Yeah.
But it turned out phenomenal.
Thanks. Yeah. I love it. Yeah.
They're all such great storytellers too. All those guys.
Yeah.
We could just hang out with them. I mean, there's so many stories that don't even.
That was
amazing.
Yeah.
Where they just, weave these incredible.
Swamp Dogg's story about throwing that party, and then he was in pain because his wife made him get circumcised.
Yeah. That story's a lot longer too. Like
I was just like,
there's a lot of.
It's like, why did you do that? Well, she just said that I should, and she's never wrong.
Yeah.
So
we didn't interrogate it any further, but that story is a lot longer and grosser. If you, if you want to see someday if we get like a Blu-ray or something, hopefully I
can only imagine
extras.
The detail. Yeah. So you edited, did you guys all kind of work on the editing?
Right, along with Isaac and Ryan, and then I edited with them. And Isaac and Ryan really had, the idea for the construct of the film with the pool getting painted and having this kind of loose conversational vibe. That was, kind of the idea from the get-go. But we were really fortunate that we had over 1 year to edit the film and to, really put in the time. And there's also a lot of archival material, much of which comes from Swamp Dogg's home. So we did Ben Wu, producer here, we did a lot of archival digging and just found some incredible thing, including the circumcision, which is like that footage really was like that week. Like that's when it happened. And the Scooby-Doo with Moogstar, like all that stuff, we found footage. Like when you hear the opera singer, he talks about the opera singer, that's really the voice of the opera singer from that time, from when that happened. So
it was Herod Blank, the filmmaker, who's Les Blank's son, is who brought Moog to Evel Knievel's grave, which we found out later in the process when we were trying. Like Moog was like, no, there's footage somewhere. This guy Herod has it, and we tracked it down. And we're like, wait,
so
what?
There's footage of the Evel
yeah, I mean, there's a picture
visit.
of Moog in the suit, that breaks the animation up. That's a real picture. And then that footage of the woman she's naked in the fountain at McDonald's is like from, that's like the real thing. I don't know. There's just something magical about hearing that story a few times and being confused. Like, what is this story? We knew we had to use it, and it wasn't until we animated it that we could figure out the sort of like.
It sounds like though. Isn't it tremendously hard to get something down in 95 minutes?
Yeah. Well, not this. Like, we really like, our longest version of this was probably about 2.5 hours. Yeah. And then we showed it to Swamp, and he loved it, but he was like, I think there's like 4 endings. Like we just had too many endings, and he was right. And so we just trimmed, back. But there's so much amazing material, but a lot of it we could kind of tell right away that. To make it work was, we were like either overworking it to try and fit it in, or we knew that it had this musical like rhythm that had to be pretty quick paced because everyone's just sitting around the whole time. So to keep it energetic, we knew we wanted to keep it short. So it was kind of easy actually to just get rid of stuff. Nothing was too precious. Like, so we went with like kind of what, was the funniest or what, we thought worked the best.
Yeah.
Not anything that was like particularly, there's a lot of important stories probably to Swamp's life that aren't in there actually.
Right. There's a lot, there ends up being a lot of poignant moments in it.
Mm-hmm.
And did those guys like sort of offer up those stories of struggle?
Yeah.
'Cause I thought they were really touching and really, I mean, inspiring is kind of like a boring word for it, but inspiring.
Yeah, we find them super inspiring.
Yeah.
That's why we made the movie. Yeah, they're just such open guys. Like, I don't know, you don't find subjects like that. I don't know if you don't find them anymore, but people are they're not as comfortable in front with a camera in their face like these guys are. And yeah, they were just super open with us all the time. We didn't really do all that much research. So like, Swamp's walking around with an apron that says Yvonne on it, and we're finally like, well, what's Yvonne? And suddenly we get into the love of his life, and we find this whole, deep history with Yvonne. All that stuff we were just kind of learning in the moment as we're there, like listening to them tell us stuff. Guitar Shorty got sick and passed away real quickly, and Brian, I think, was in the air to go out there and work on some music. Called up David, like, you got to get down here. Like, Shorty, passed away. So, like, that interview is just David and a camera the day after Shorty passed away, and wanted to tell it.
Had he been ill, or was it kind of a surprise?
Yeah, he'd been ill for a few months. But it was, he died pretty quickly. That I don't know if we had some warning, really.
Yeah, it's a little ironic because, from day one, those guys are just like, we just became part of their tribe and their hangout at the house, which is what's so, endearing about how they live their lives, is it's just this wonderful factory of people who all just get in and collaborate together. But Shorty's illness was, for as open as they were, all of them, about everything, you never really knew Shorty was sick. It did kind of come as a little bit of a, surprise. I mean, it didn't happen instantly, but
he was like playing shows up until
right.
He was still doing,
He's like the least verbose
he's quiet.
of all of them, but I feel like I still got his essence.
Yeah, hopefully, yeah.
And man, oh man, is he an incredible guitar player.
Yeah, he can do a flip while he's
That's
playing
what
a solo.
Was so amazing about. It's so amazing when this is my favorite kind of documentaries, when you sort of docs about sort of underground talent. That's amazing. And sort of reminds you that not everybody who's amazing becomes famous. And while that's disappointing, these people still have full lives, I think. So does Moogstar still live at...
Yeah.
Did anybody else replace Shorty in the house?
Might have moved into Shorty's room.
And then Swamp. There's been a few people.
There's people, one of Swamp's daughters moved in for a while and like cleaned up the place. We showed up and it was like shockingly clean, which was a new thing. But yeah, Dr. Jerry still has her room there. Moog, I think, changed bedrooms. And
Wait,
then,
Dr. Jerry lives there too?
Yeah, well, Dr. Jerry spends time between Bakersfield, where her clinic is.
Oh, okay.
Her practice is, and then she comes down and stays at the house too.
Okay.
So the Moog, like, I think the bedroom that Moogstar lives in with all the stuffed animals and Ziploc bags was Dr. Jerry's childhood bedroom. Yeah.
So is Swamp still performing regularly around?
Oh yeah, and their shows are like rippingly good.
Wow. So does he
really
have
good
is he on tour? Does he have a tour going right now? Or
he's been doing.
Played last Friday night.
Yeah.
He's.
We've been on the.
Playing Nashville on the 14th, I think.
Yeah,
that's
so they're doing a lot
awesome.
of things with the movie now too.
Okay.
Like, the movie will be playing somewhere and they'll schedule a show.
Are you guys selling those amazing hats?
No, those were made for South by Southwest, but we got to bring them back. Yeah.
They're so cool.
We're just super
I'd
broke,
definitely
so we
buy
can't
one.
afford to do those right now. But sometime they'll come
Yeah,
back.
because it's embroidered.
Yeah, it's
dude.
embroidery.
Nice.
Yeah, those are like team hats or whatever.
So you guys are opening tomorrow, and are you gonna? Where are you playing in town here in LA?
Just the new art.
The new
tomorrow,
art.
Or, I mean, it starts tomorrow and has a week or something. I don't know.
Are you doing Q&As over there?
Yeah, we'll do Q&As on Friday and Saturday at the 7:30 shows. Swamp will be there. Moogstar will be there. It's really fun to hang out with them
That
after.
would be amazing.
Yeah, they love it. And I know it's playing at Vidiot's in a few weeks.
The cookbook's real. That's coming out. And,
Yeah.
The cookbook's real?
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
That's part of his archive that he pulled out of his bed. We were like, "You wrote a cookbook?" And he's like, "Yeah, it never got published." So we went to our friends at Pioneer Works in Brooklyn, and they have like a publishing wing, and they wanted to do it. So it's like this crazy art book, cookbook thing. There'll be a full episode of that infomercial at some point.
Well, thank you so much.
Thanks.
Good
Thanks,
luck
everybody.
on your opening.
Thanks. Yeah. Please, if you know anyone who can go to a movie tomorrow or the next day, send them to the new art. Yeah.
Wants to meet Swamp.
Yeah, they'll be there. Yeah, we need all the help we can get.
It's awesome.
Thank you.